So after flying this drone now for over 20 weeks in different locations, is it actually any good for travel? Well, yes and no. There are certainly a couple of things you need to be aware about if you're going to be picking one of these drones up for traveling. So what do you typically want in a travel drone? You want something which is lightweight, small, and it's going to get good quality and be easy to use. And this combined package here ticks a lot of those boxes. With this RC controller, I've found it to be really good. The screen's built in, it pairs really easily so you don't have to connect a phone, and they're both really lightweight. And these fit perfectly in bags. So this is perfect then for when you're traveling on holiday. Now, most of the time I've just been using this, and this is the DJI Fly More kit bag. It's a small, lightweight bag, it's good quality, and it just fits in there with the controller and some accessories. It's not going to fit much else in there, but really for holidays, that's all you need. Or I've been using like a shoulder bag, something which is going to fit literally the drone and the controller inside of it. And when traveling, especially in hot countries, this is ideal because you're not going to want to take a huge bag with you on holiday. You're going to get all hot and sweaty, and having a big bag is just going to slow you down. And therefore, you're going to take your equipment less times with you. So having this drone, having that small bag, it enabled me to take this drone with me into so many different locations and able to get the shot. More so if I was to take the Mavic 3 and the Sony a7S III, two big pieces of equipment, yes, get fantastic results, but because it's heavy and in hot countries traveling, it's just going to be more of a hassle. So more times I'm going to leave them at home or leave them in the hotel. So this for travel is definitely an advantage because of its size. Now, I touched on before about setup time. So setup is really quick and convenient, either on here or your phone. It takes about a minute to set up, so that was good. Now it gets GPS lock really fast. Normally within about 30 seconds, you've got full GPS lock and then you're able to go off and fly. And it's also got really good safety features built into it, so it's good for beginners. And if something goes wrong, it's got return to home, so it will come back to you in case of an emergency. And this is perfect again for travel, for on holidays. You're going to be flying in an area you're not really familiar with. You don't really know the whole area, the surroundings. So if something goes wrong, having these safety features built in is definitely a massive game changer, and it's going to help you get this drone back. And you can also see from the videos here that the quality coming from this tiny little camera on the front is really impressive. It shoots in 10-bit D-Cine-like color profiles as well to get the best possible color. This is like a flat image it's going to be on the screen, but with color grading you can get that image to look really good. And the photos also coming from this are impressive. They are really good. You've also got all the extra features built into it as well. Now on holiday a lot I've been using Spotlight for getting really good cinematic shots of buildings, objects, moving objects basically, or people. And you've also got active track, so if you're on a bike or a car or even something like a jet ski or a boat, you can have the active track on here and it will track you whilst you're on that. And that's really good to have all these features built in. And then you can have more fun as well with like hyperlapse. So overall the features on this are really good and been impressed with. Now the color grading on here is quite difficult to do, and it's something I have found from this compared to the Mini 2 because of a few things, and I'll touch on one at the end of the video. But the color grading through D-Cine-like for beginners is really hard. So I brought out my own LUTs. I've just released these literally a few days ago, and I'll link them in the description below. But basically these just transform that video, so it takes all the effort out of it, so you don't have to do any color grading. So once you download these LUTs, you just drag them onto your footage and you can get really good looking video. And in D-Cine-like, where you've got that flat image and it looks all washed out, you drag that onto the video and then you've instantly got results like this. So if you want to check these out, a shameless plug, I'll link them all in the description. Now, quietness and drones is a big thing when traveling, because if you're going to tourist attractions, you're going to be surrounded by loads of people in that area. And believe it or not, some people don't like drones, and even drone operators themselves don't like people looking at them when they're flying their drones, don't like the attention that comes their way when flying a drone. You get a lot of unwanted attention when flying these. So this drone, luckily, is the quietest drone that I have ever flown, and this is a massive advantage. It means you're going to be able to go to these popular tourist attraction areas, fly this drone, and once it's in the air, people aren't really going to hear it. And this is a massive advantage compared to say the Mavic 3, which is a lot louder and more noticeable in the air. So for discreetness, this is a huge advantage on this drone when you're going to be flying in those tourist attraction areas on holiday. Now, battery life is super important on any drone. What's it like on this? Well, overall, it's pretty good. It's going to be about 22-23 minutes of battery life in normal conditions. You're not going to get any more than that really, unless it's really calm conditions. And if it's windy, it's going to go down, and I'll speak about that in a minute. But battery life is pretty good. You can get the extra one, the Plus battery. That's actually not available in the UK or Europe, but that puts the drone over 250 grams. But you're going to get around about the 40-minute mark with that. So if you can use that drone and you can buy it in your country, then that is good. But a bit of advice for you, 100%, you need to pick up some extra batteries. So these batteries come with a Fly More kit as well. So I'd really recommend, as your number one purchase, getting the Fly More kit. You're going to get 2 extra batteries with the Fly More kit, this case and that bag I showed you earlier. And this is going to enable you when you're traveling to be able to not miss shots because you're running out of battery. These batteries aren't going to last ages. You can buy these batteries on their own as well. So I picked up a couple of extras as well. And what's good about this is that you can charge this case on the go. So if you're in a car traveling around to different locations, you can charge this via USB-C into a car charger. So I've used that all the time. And then if you are finished filming, you've got some battery life left and your phone dies, you can connect this to your phone and use this whole setup as like a power bank. So number one thing, you need to get more batteries, and the Fly More kit is, as an overall package, the best and cheapest way of getting more batteries with that bag. So with all that, it sounds perfect, doesn't it? Well, not entirely. You see, the question of this video was, is this drone actually perfect for travel? And you see, there are a couple of issues with this drone that may put you off buying this, depending on your circumstances. You see, number one is about the location you're going to. So if you're traveling to certain places where they are really windy, this drone is going to struggle a lot. You can see here as one example in the south of Tenerife, a lovely island, lovely Canary Islands, but in that area it is windy. It's just naturally windy there because of that massive lump volcano in the middle of it. And you can see here, the drone, it was struggling a lot. It was about 25 miles an hour wind, so quite strong. This has a level 5 wind resistance, but you can see it is struggling. And because of that, the footage is quite choppy and not smooth. This drone was not having a good time in that. And that was only about 10-20 meters off the ground. Any higher than that, it probably would have blew away. But that's going to be the consideration. If you're going to be flying in this drone and you're going to places just like cities, beaches, little towns, your area where it's not too windy, then this is perfect and it's going to tick every single box. And yes, then it is a perfect travel drone. But if you like going to places around the world where you know they are naturally windy, this isn't going to be for you. And it's also another factor. If you like hiking, going up mountains where you're going to be climbing to a higher altitude, this drone is not going to be the drone for you either. I've had this on quite a few high hikes where I've done recently, and this drone has struggled that much, I just had to land it straight away. Whereas I knew, and I did have luckily the Mavic 3 with me on a couple of occasions, and that would just sit there like a flying tank. And something we touched on then was about battery life, and the drone is good, but in windy conditions, because of these small motors and propellers, it's going to have to work super hard, so battery life takes a hit. So again, it's all about you and where you're going to be traveling. You're going to want normally one drone to take with you traveling, and think about the places you go to or the places you want to go to. Is this a good drone to get for those locations? Or maybe think about the bigger drones like the Mavic 3 or the Air 2S, which are going to handle those wind conditions better because they are heavier. More restrictions, cost more, but sometimes you're going to be able to fly them in more places. And something I realized as soon as picking this up was relating to the camera. Now this is a great camera with some drawbacks. So this is an f1.7 aperture, so awesome for low light. You're going to get really good low light and nighttime videos through here because being an f1.7, it lets a lot of light in, which in the daytime isn't always a good thing. This is going to mean that a lot of light is coming in, so a lot of your shots are going to look quite overexposed. Now when I first picked this drone up, I went to Mallorca, didn't have any ND filters, so a lot of the shots here you can see are quite overexposed there because there's no ND filter in. Also, if you're shooting auto, your shutter speed is going to be like 1/4000. It's going to be really sharp and it's not going to look very natural. So ND filters for this drone are more crucial than ever, and it's something which I wish I had when I went to Mallorca. Because it was so overexposed, when I got back I had to do a lot of color grading, and then that enabled me to then bring the exposure down and try and get it to a point where it looks better. But but it's still in some areas was still overexposed. I wasn't 100% happy with. So I've been using these freewheel filters since they've been available, and it's made a massive difference in the video quality. So what you do is when you get these filters, you just snap the front off of the front here, and then you get your ND filter, and then you just literally put this in place and it just snaps on really easily, just twists into place. So that's great. Now these come in different strengths, and once you've got one of these ND filters on, it reduces the amount of light going in. So in these really harsh environments when the light's super strong, this will then reduce that light going into the camera, and then your footage isn't going to be overexposed. It's going to be much better. And what I found to be awesome is this pack that's just come out. This is the Freewell Mega Pack. This covers you for literally every single lighting condition. It's got ND filters, it's got polarizing ND filters in this huge pack that you can just take with you all in one. It is perfect. I can just put this in my bag and I've got ND filters with me. I'm going to be doing a full review on this and more details, so that's coming soon. I'm also going to be giving away a few of these as well, so make sure you stick around for that coming soon. Make sure you subscribe if you've not done so already. But yeah, Freewell filters, or any ND filters, but I find Freewell to be the best, are so needed on this drone. Otherwise your footage is just going to be really blown out and overexposed. So in a nutshell, it's been a really good travel drone. I love this drone. It's probably my favorite drone that I travel with and actually fly just in general. It's really good. There are some drawbacks though you need to be aware about. It's an honest review. The camera is really good. The photos and videos are awesome coming out of here, but you need ND filters on to reduce that light going in. Otherwise, daytime footage isn't going to look brilliant. But all the features built into this are ace. I love Spotlight, I love Hyperlapse and Active Track. I'm really happy that they are now in this drone. And also this controller is really good with a built-in screen. It's nice and lightweight. It's really, really convenient to travel with. But think about that wind issue. Think about where you're going to be flying, the locations you like going to, or do you like hiking? And then this whole setup just might not be enough for you and you might need a bigger drone. But if not, this is a great option for travel with some drawbacks, but a massive amount of advantages. So let me know any travel experiences you've had over these last 20 weeks as well with your Mini 3. Have you had any issues with this? Have you experienced any problems with the wind as well? What do you think about going forward and traveling? Would you pick this or the Mavic 3? It'd be really good to read those comments, and if you did enjoy this video, make sure you like and subscribe. That really does help the algorithm, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye bye.